Hi guys, and welcome back to Your Old Toys. Now today, we are going to be, we're joining you from a secret Imperial hangar base somewhere in space. And now today we are going to be talking about the unreleased Star Wars Droids figures. Now these action figures were meant to be released, and one of them was released in Brazil. That is Vlix. However, we are going to be taking a look at the other unreleased ones. Now, I'm going to play for you a video of what they would have looked like when they were still in the package, or out of the package, I guess. They're not really in the package in this video. Now, this video, it's, just about as old as I am, about 14 years old. And, I guess you could say over the course of my lifetime, video recording technology has improved quite a bit. So guys, without further ado, let's go and take a look at this video.
Well, everybody has Yak Face and Blue Snaggletooth and the Jawa Sandcrawler with a cape, but not everybody has the unproduced figures, which are so hard to find. You can spend your entire lifetime in Singapore and never find them. But try looking up some Kenner people, and you might get a good idea of who has what, where it's at, where it can be seen. These are my holy grail figures, and I love them dearly. Everybody wants to find the coins, but everybody wants to find Blix, a real Blix with holes in his feet. This one I get the most questions about. You can either raid Steve Sansweet's home or raid Steve Sansweet's home and steal his figures and make new copies. You just have to put them back. One is, if you're not Steve Sansweet, or you're not married to a Kenner employee or former Kenner employee, you're not going to find these at your local flea market. It's Jessica Meade. Amos Creed. He's fairly easy to find if you look hard enough. Secret is patience. I've been collecting since 1977, and I just found these all last year. For Christmas. It's like the best Christmas present in the whole world. I want you to see the cloth cape.
Now guys, after watching that video, do you think that these are actually genuinely real? The video is over 14 years old, and this guy seems pretty legit. However, I would question a few things. There is a promotional photo for these figures that would have been what they looked like if they were mass produced. And now up on screen you're seeing this photo. Now, the figures actually genuinely do look pretty similar. Okay, but fakes were not out of the picture at this time. Yes, fakes have always been in the picture, even since the very beginning. Before Kenner was even making Star Wars toys, there were people trying to knock off Star Wars merchandise because they knew it was literally the biggest thing in the world at that time. Now, of course, we have film franchises like Harry Potter and whatever else people are watching these days. But at that time, Star Wars was the biggest thing in the world. Now, I also want to look at something else. He has coins and card backs. Would they have made prototype coins? Yes, probably. Would they have looked as close to real, authentic Droids coins? Probably not, because they got decently far in the prototype phase, but you can just tell, even at this poor resolution of video, these figures are not molded. These are hand sculpted and kit bashed. You can almost pretty clearly tell that Gaff's legs are, well, none other than Hammerhead's legs. And now the other thing I would like to talk about is, well, he says find Kenner employees. And he's saying nobody in the world has these. Now, of course, I'm not saying these are fake. I'm just saying that the odds of him having these and him not just getting ripped off, well, they're pretty low. And, well, he does have card backs. Now, these card backs, they don't look like Kenner card backs. However, they are prototypes. So we have to leave that factor in. Could these be prototype card backs? Well, if we're looking at photos of prototype card backs, you can see a resemblance. Of course, we're not going to be able to find pictures of, well, every prototype is different and unique. So, looking at these photos and looking at that previous video, the card backs are pretty similar, made out of printer paper. However, because they are a poor quality and not very high quality, meant to be shipped overseas and, well, really handled and thrown around in a store, those are pretty easy to knock off with the good old home printer. However, printers at that time were not as good as they are today, so either he had a very expensive printer for that time, or those are the real deal. Now, these Hangar Bay talks and our Saturday videos, we are trying to make a little bit longer. Well, of course, to help grow our channel and to give you more content since we are taking Sundays off. And, well, these figures, yes, we do know they were being made. Yes, we do know that there may just be prototypes that exist. Because, well, there were rumors for years of a White Witch prototype being out there, and it showed up in Gus Lopez's hands. Now, the White Witch, also from the Droids line. Now, Gus Lopez, in one of his interviews, I think it was the King 5 interview. King 5 is the Seattle news company. And he said that the White Witch had the original figures. Now, the figures that were not the original figures, meaning the figures that were photographed with the White Witch in the photograph. Now, I'll pull up an image of that real quick because I find it interesting because the figures that were in the video are very similar to the figures that are right next to the White Witch. And it just really, really amazes me. These could genuinely be the prototypes that, well, have been on YouTube for, well, a little over 14 years now. Can you believe if we have spent all of this time wondering and this just been out there information about it for years? Now, of course, Sansweet's gonna have his copy of them, and I'm not denying that there's more than one set of them out there because these are pretty far along in the prototype process. There were definitely prototypes before these. These are pretty far along. These were almost had the green light for mass production. Now, if these were mass produced, yes, they would be rare. Yes, they would. They wouldn't fetch as much as a rocket firing Boba Fett, and I'm saying that because rocket firing Boba Fett's are in high demand. Now, this extremely rare Imperial Hangar Bay that you're all looking at, admiring right now, it is rarer than a rocket firing Boba Fett, but that does not mean it's selling for as much as a rocket firing Boba Fett. How much would these sell for? Well, individual figures I could see going for about as much as an Uze. A complete set like that, well, then you're talking rocket firing Boba Fett money. Really, I wouldn't doubt it if these are real, but I also have questions to ask if I were to be buying from this guy. Are these legit? What is the name of the Kenner employee you got these from? It's definitely not Jim Swearingen, because he was not even working on Star Wars at this point. Jim Swearingen was early on Star Wars, and then late Empire, early Jedi, he got moved over to Strawberry Shortcake. And then, well, you know what happened. All of the Star Wars figures got packed with sticks, and we got figures like Anakin Skywalker, an Imperial dignitary, and, well, almost 10 Ewoks. If they gave us 10 Ewoks, well, then there would be problems, but at least we had a couple other redeeming figures like Luke Jedi, Luke Stormtrooper. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked here. The point is, these droids figures, if these are genuine, well, these are insanely rare. These are far rarer than anything I have in my collection. And, well, Gus Lopez does not even have these. Sansweet, I would say he probably does. Gus Lopez, well, his whole collection is up on the Star Wars Collector's Archives for viewing. And these aren't even on there. I'll put up this promotional photo one more time. And this is actually fairly interesting because it just shows that it has the little red pill below them that says new. These were so close. These were far closer than rocket firing Boba Fett to being green-lighted into production. These were in the last phase. They were probably sent to the factories over in China. Were probably sending letters back to Kenner. We have the molds ready. We're ready. We just need your approval. And then, just out of the blue, Kenner says, we canceled Power of the Force. It's 1986. We've tried to keep Droids and Ewoks going, but the time has come. Views on these shows are down. They're not making any more new seasons. We just have to pull the plug on our last grasp in Star Wars. And I say Ewoks because while there is unfortunately no video of Ewoks figures, there is a promotional photo of Ewoks figures that would have been released. And these Ewoks figures, that'll probably be next week's Hangar Bay talk, but these Ewoks figures were is just about as close as these Droids figures, actually. They have the same, pretty much the same promotional photo idea, with the new figures being below the old figures, and old by, I mean, the first wave. And, well, there's so much history behind this Star Wars line, and that is truly what I love doing, what I love talking about. And this channel is my way to, well, inform people, because I have talked to experienced Star Wars collectors through the YouTube platform, and, well, they've said, "Wow, your old toys, you sure do know a lot more than I have ever known," and I've been there since the beginning. And, well, I've only been walking this planet for 14 years now. Over 14 years. It's been an honor. This video has this video of these Droids figures. It's older than I am, but it just shows you how far our knowledge of Star Wars has come, how far, well, technology has advanced. And, I mean, take a look at this. We are making a video with a Vader's tie backdrop, or a secret Imperial hangar base somewhere in space. You have to decide which one it is. And Star Wars knowledge has advanced so much. The experiences through this channel have been truly amazing. So, guys, that's really a wrap on today's video. Did you guys enjoy watching this video? Do you guys have Droids figures? Do you guys want Droids figures after watching today's video? Was this video an inspiration for you to start collecting Star Wars and accomplishing the dream of collect them all? I am far from that, but I am getting closer. With every view, every like, every subscribe, it helps me get closer to my dream of, well, one day getting monetized on YouTube. And with monetization, it will help me speed up my ultimate goal of collecting them all. And collecting them all, there have been a few bonuses. Collect them all, that's a very loose phrase. What does that truly mean for me? What does that truly mean for you? So, guys, on one final note here, these Droids figures are insanely rare. But how many more are out there? Are there any more out there? There could be 5 more sets out there. We know there should be a wax set, an unpainted set, and a painted set. So that's 3. So this is one known set. Now, there should be 2 more. Those 2 more could be sitting in a landfill or in a private collection that we know absolutely nothing about. So, guys, that's a wrap for today's video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will talk again soon.